Let's move on to the AFC West, where I have a team blowing it up, and I mean blowing it up, and that is the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I understand that Jimmy Garoppolo and Josh McDaniels have some experience working together. Obviously, had great success in New England, where I think Jimmy G either went undefeated or only lost like one game in his time there,
Mm,
limited time there. Um, but I have this team going 3-14. I have them. I think it was starting like 2-6 or something, and then I think they're gonna blow it up. I really do. I think Devonte Adams will be on the move around the trade deadline. I think Josh McDaniels will be on the hot seat once again, and he actually might be fired come the end of the season. I think we'll be seeing the last year of Josh Jacobs in Vegas, and I just don't really see where this team gets their wins. I understand that they finished third in the division last year, and Josh Jacobs led the league in running, and Devonte Adams was this great piece. But I think although it might not seem like it, I think downgrading from Derek Carr to Jimmy Garoppolo is a way bigger deal than it's been made, and I think that the other teams have also gotten better in this division, and so I think they get swept in this division actually, um, and I have them going 3-14.
all right. Let me say this, which also I had the Raiders finishing last in the division as well. Them getting 5 wins, 5-12 as their record. Let me just say this: the only reason why they're not completely tanking right now, why they're not rebuilding, is because they're broke.
Yeah, yeah.
They have no
Well
money,
said. Well said.
and because Mark Davis,
That's why
their
they
owner,
that's why they didn't fire Josh McDaniels last year.
right? I was about to get that, and because like Mark Davis, their owner, they didn't have enough money to franchise to fire head coach Josh McDaniels last year. They're now stuck in this position where it's like, okay, we can't really we can't really tank right now. We can't really get a high position, especially in this draft class where a guy like Caleb Williams is going to be the first overall pick, projected to be. And so we can't really do that. We already spent a bunch of capital, a bunch of money on getting these guys like Chandler Jones, Devontae Adams, of course. We tried to do that last year and it didn't work. It completely blew up in our faces. And
Hmm.
so we're gonna kind of compete. That's why they got a guy like Jimmy G as a sturdy quarterback piece with their offense. You know, serviceable quarterback play, but at the same time, it it's not enough. They're gonna be clearly the last team in this division, and
Yeah,
we're
and as much as I say I like Jimmy G because of the way he looks and the stuff he does, he's gonna struggle. I really do
pause.
think so. No, but I think he'll struggle because he's not no longer in the Kyle Shanahan system where everything is wide open for you and you have this great protection because you have guys like Trent Richardson and or I mean Trent Williams on the O line and you have everything made easy for you. You have Josh McDaniels who sure he can scheme well on the offense, but he's no Kyle Shanahan. You don't have the pieces of Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle. Instead, it's really just Adams, it's Jacobs and maybe Hunter Renfro here and there. You did lose Darren Waller. You did lose Mac Hollins, who I liked. Um, and the O line is very poor. And Jimmy G hasn't played in a while. I think people are forgetting that. Jimmy G basically went out what like week 5, week 4 last year. And Brock Purdy took his
Mm,
starting spot.
I don't think it was that early. It
Yep,
was more towards like October, November that
fair.
phase of the season.
Fair, but like so halfway through the season, maybe a little after, Brock Purdy took his starting spot and never looked back. And so Jimmy G has been on the sideline since then. And it's not like Deshaun Watson, where Deshaun Watson was this great talent that has to come back. Like you're asking Jimmy G to come back, and that's a lot more, I think. So for that reason, I have them finishing so low.
Yeah, and I want to like talk about their defense for just a quick minute. Um, all three phases mediocre. D line only Max Crosby and Tyree Wilson, who I do like. They're the only
Yeah,
like
that was a good
respectable
pick. That was a good pick.
pass rush pieces in that entire D line. Chandler Jones is washed. I'm sorry, but he's not the same guy he was a few years back. Moving on, linebacking core, arguably the worst in the league. They're gonna get they're gonna get attacked passing lines through the middle. You're gonna see a lot of runs through the middle the entire year. Moving on to the last phase, the secondary mediocre as well. I do like Nate Hobbs, Marcus Peters. That's a fine signing. Okay, like a cornerback too, but at the same time, man, they're gonna get thrown all day by these offenses. If an opposing team the Raiders are gonna face this season has a respectable quarterback, at worst, they're gonna get thrown on all day. I'm sorry.
And that's every team in their division this year. Rest will be respectable.
Yeah,
Um,
so that's like what 6 games in their entire. Yeah, it's bad.
um,
That team is gonna be so mediocre this year.
um, Speaking of Russ, and speaking of the Broncos, I may have guaranteed them to be a playoff team without actually looking at the schedule, without actually looking at the other teams. And so, with that being said, I have them finishing third in this division with a record of 10-7. Um, yep, yep. They'll still be a good team. They'll still be a good team. It's just the AFC is too stacked. Um, do I got to repeat everything I've said previously about the Broncos? Because that's basically what I was about to say.
That go on ahead, go on ahead.
I mean, sure, sure. So obviously they got the best cornerback in the league. That is a fact. In Pastor Tan. Um,
That's cap.
um, the defense, or I mean, the offense will be a lot better than last year because they don't have one of the worst coaches in NFL history. They actually have one of the better coaches in NFL history in Sean Payton. So I'm expecting Russ to be rejuvenated. I'm expecting Javante to get running right away. I know that you're not expecting Javante to be as good coming off some serious injuries, but you always say it. And where medicine is today, where medicine has evolved to, we're in a better place than ever before. And so I think that while he did go through some pretty significant and serious injuries, I think that him being as young as he is and where medicine is, he'll be able to bounce back. I, I am concerned with the injuries of Jerry Judy. Obviously, Tim Patrick's gonna miss the whole year again, but the O line is back to healthy. You bring in a guy like Mike McGlinchey. Garrett Bowles doesn't break his leg in like week 4 of the season, and he was their best offensive lineman last year. Um, so I'm expecting a big jump. And Randy Gregory will have a big year as well.
No.
Yes, Randy Gregory is good. He's
what
good.
big what big year?
He'll have double digit sacks.
Bro, no, he won't.
Yes, he will.
No, he won't. I can guarantee you he won't.
He will have double
I
digit
can
sacks.
guarantee you
In a
he won't.
Broncos system, in a Broncos
I
defensive
can
system,
guarantee you won't. Bro, on the Cowboys, right? His breakout season, he had Dan Quinn, one of the best defensive minds in the entire league, on a D line where he had Demarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons playing alongside, and I believe I don't want to get his first name wrong, but Dorrance Armstrong on that D line, and he only had like what 6 sacks the entire year, and that was his breakout season.
how many
No,
sacks did Demarcus
six to
Lawrence
eight
have?
sacks.
Demarcus Lawrence hasn't been great then, right? Right. So Michael Parsons is going to do his thing because Michael Parsons is generational. But we've consistently seen Demarcus Lawrence take steps back in sack numbers, right? You're saying Randy Gregory didn't have great sack numbers, right? But Broncos will always have at least one double digit sack leader, and I'm expecting it to be him.
I'm pretty sure that did not happen last year.
Well,
I'm
that's
pretty
because they traded Bradley Chubb halfway through the season, and
He
Randy
was
Gregory
never
went
a
on
double
vacation.
digit sack guy, even
Randy
with
Gregory had how many sacks week 1 against the Seahawks
I don't. He had 2 sacks the entire year last year.
in 2 games, and or 1 game? What, like 1 game in 1 quarter? Really,
So he played 6 games last year, had 2 sacks, started three
Randy
games,
Gregory?
and then yeah, Randy Gregory did,
He
and
did
then
not play
it
two
just
games
looked.
last year or 6 games last year.
I'm saying he did play. That's what I'm on Football Reference right now, bro.
There's
Like
no way
that's
he
what
got because he got
that's
hurt
what
week
it's
2
saying.
against the Raiders.
Oh,
What games does
oh,
it say he played?
I'm on Football Reference right now, and I'm seeing that it says that he played 6 games last year, and he started three, and so he got okay. So, game week 4 was his like final game before he got hurt, and then he came back week 15 against the Cardinals, and then week 16 against the Rams. That blowout game on Christmas Day. Patrick Star was clowning Russ on Nickelodeon.
Well, that game don't
He got
count. That
suspended
game
at
don't
that
count.
game too. How it don't count?
That game don't count. Um.
He played right.
Oh, Raiders were week 4. I don't know why I thought Raiders were week 2.
No,
Um.
wait, let me. I need to look up his last year with the Cowboys.
I'm telling you, Randy Gregory will be double digit sacks though. He had a great
No, he
preseason.
won't.
He had a
No,
great
he won't.
preseason.
Okay. So, all right. So Michael Parsons, of course, that year he led the team in sacks. He had 13. Randy
Hmm.
Gregory had 6 sacks. Dorrance Armstrong 5. Demarcus Lawrence, he played 7 games that year. He was hampered with injuries. He had 3 sacks.
Hmm.
That was his
Hmm.
career year on a
Trust
team where
me.
he was arguably the third best edge pass rusher on that Cowboys
I,
defense.
trust me, Debo. We'll revisit this. We'll revisit this. But he will be a double digit sack leader, or he will have double
Oh,
digit sacks.
a third? No, that is not happening.
It's gonna
I
happen.
will give you I will give you like $20-$30 if that happens.
Bet. Should I place a $20-$30 bet right now?
Do
Like
it.
on
I
FanDuel?
swear to God, do it if you're that confident.
I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident. Because that Raiders O line he's gonna face twice a year. That O line don't scare me. Um uh is Rashawn Slater back this year for the Chargers? Or is he back week 1?
Yes, he'll be back. Yeah.
He'll be back. Mahomes is going to be tough to sack, but they're also playing a lot of shitter teams. That's partly why the Broncos are going to have a very good record because
Oh,
they
he's
finished
not.
last in the division last year.
That man is not getting double digit sacks.
You will see, Divo. You will eat your words. But
I
who
never
do you
been
have?
that
Who do you
confident in my
have
entire
finishing
life
third?
before. I agree with you on the third best team in the division. I have the Broncos finishing in that spot with 7 wins. They're going 7-10.
Hater. Hater.
They get 7 wins.
So you're
How
saying
am
they
I
bring
being a
in Sean
hater?
Payton and win like one more game, 1 or 2 more games?
Yes,
No, it's just it's
they're
just not
not, bro.
happening.
I would be shocked if that team gets around 10 wins. Gets over 10 wins this season. I will be shocked.
Russ will be much better. Russ will be much better.
No,
Um.
oh, okay, yeah, he'll be better than last year because last year he was obviously completely he was horrible. He was one of the
Mhm,
worst QBs in the league statistically.
mhm.
That's a given, but at the same time, how good is he gonna be? What a top?
15 to 10
What?
quarterback. 10, 15.
No,
Yeah,
no,
he'll be in that
no,
range. He'll be in
no.
that range.
I'm saying top 10. I'm saying top 20, top 15 around that range, and that's like towards
20
the
is so
bottom.
disrespectful.
That's towards the bottom. I'm sorry.
20.
That's
This
towards the bottom.
Fred. No, he'll be up there. But let's move on. Unless you want to talk
I
about
mean,
Broncos anymore.
yeah, I mean, with Denver, of course, they're always gonna have a great defense led by Patrick Surtain, Justin Simmons. That secondary's nasty. Their pass rush improved actually with them getting Frank Clark, one of their big signings this free agency. I still don't like their O line, Mike McGlinchey, for what they paid for him.
It's a
He's
win now
not the
team. They're making win now moves.
I know, but Mike McGlinchey is an average starting tackle in this league. He's not. He shouldn't have gotten that much money to be an average starting right tackle. He's not that great of a tackle in my opinion. And so you already saw it with the preseason too when the starters played.
I saw Randy Gregory have 3 sacks, but apparently preseason don't matter in that regard. Okay, okay.
In
Three
which
sacks in
game? In which
3 sacks in like a game or a half. By the way,
in which game? Which
against
one?
the 49ers.
We'll talk about the 49ers later, but I have serious doubts about their O line this year.
Ooh, okay. That it is much worse. Um,
It's bad.
but yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
No, I do not have the Broncos finishing as a playoff team. I do like the signing of Sean Payton, but with Russ, I just don't think he can be able to reach those levels of being a top tier quarterback in this league, let alone being a top 10, 12 quarterback. I'm sorry. This team goes as far as Russ takes them, and to me, it's not going to be a lot.
It'll be a double-digit win season.
No,
Um,
it won't. No, no, it won't. No, it
uh,
won't.
Finishing at second place in this division with a record of 11-7 and missing the playoffs, narrowly, but missing the playoffs.
You said 10-7?
11-6. Excuse me, 11-6 is the Chargers. Um, Fire Staley and you'll make the playoffs is all I have to say. Simple,
But they're
simple
gonna
as
get
that.
11 wins.
Huh?
They're gonna have 11 wins with Staley this year.
They will. That's what I have them getting.
I
11-6. Um, I really like the addition of Kellen Moore, but I just I don't know. I really don't like see this team. I think that you're going to still have the injuries of Keenan Allen every year. You're going to have to deal with him missing 6 games. You're going to have to deal um with Mike Williams missing 5 or 6 games. Austin Eckler, although he was a touchdown machine last year, I don't think you're going to get the same output that you got last year simply because he just doesn't want to be there. Um, I think that the O-line, while Rashawn Slater is getting back, you still have a ton of question marks there. And then the defense is always just not good, even though you brought in Brandon Staley to be a defensive coach. So fire his ass, please.
a known Brandon Staley hater, which I don't blame you at all. Which I don't blame you at all. But a known Brandon Staley hater, one of the
A
biggest Brandon
correct
Staley
Brandon
haters
Staley
you will
hater.
ever see. One of the biggest Brandon Staley haters you will ever see on this internet.
Yeah, but with cause, because when everybody was getting hype about them beating the Colts with Jeff Saturday and Nick Foles starting at quarterback, and beating the Texans and beating the Bears last year, oh my God, these are great wins. No, it's not because you have a guy like Justin Herbert who's top five in my opinion easily too, um, a top five quarterback in the NFL. Let's just look at the other quarterbacks, right? Patrick Mahomes, guaranteed playoff team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen, guaranteed playoff team. Jalen Hurts, guaranteed playoff team. Lamar Jackson, we're saying them to be 12-5. You have them winning the division. Aaron Rodgers, wherever he ranks, right? So we have all these guys guaranteed playoff teams, and we're having to make arguments for the Chargers to be a playoff team. That should not be the case, especially when you have pieces like Eckler, like Keenan Allen, who's dominated over the last couple of years, like a great jump ball receiver like Mike Williams, like a solid tight end in Gerald Everett, right? And I do like the draft pick of Quentin Johnson, but I don't like Brandon Staley. And until they get rid of him, they cannot make the playoffs, in my opinion. And if they do make the playoffs, then the same thing will happen last year, where you're up 3 scores and you still blow it in the second half. So, with that being said,
All right, man. All right. Let me get to this. My second place team, of course, the Chargers. I have them winning 9 games, missing the playoffs. And about Brandon Staley,
9.
I do agree with you on that, Matt. I do agree with you. Brandon
You did
Staley,
it. You did it a year ago, so I just had to make it clear.
he tricked me. That man tricked me. I thought last year. The defense. I thought they showed improvement towards the end of the regular season. I thought ties were changing. I thought it was going to be different now. I thought the defense finally got a rhythm. But that wild card game, bro. Oh my God, that was bad. That was bad. And I know they got Kellen Moore as their new OC. I'm expecting them to be better on that offensive side of the ball. Of course, with Herbert leading the way as an elite quarterback, but at the same time, man, their running game's still weak. I don't like Eckler being a number one running back on an offense. The trenches on the defensive side of the ball is still very poor. They're gonna get beat in the run game like they have been doing uh, for the past few years. There's just so many questions with their team right now, especially in an AFC where a lot of teams got better this past offseason. I don't expect them to make the playoffs this year.
To me, also, the reason that I don't like Brandon Staley is you can tell a good defensive coach by how their former players play. Oh, do we have somebody joining us?
Yeah,
But
pretty
you could,
soon,
right?
man.
So for example, let me give you an example, right? J.C. Jackson, right? J.C. Jackson, when he was playing for a guy who we know to be a great defensive coach in Bill Belichick, was putting up elite cornerback one numbers, right? And I think he finished as he made an All Pro team that year, and he had a great year. Fast forward to last season, he was atrocious, damn near unplayable because of how poor he was doing, right? You look at a guy like Derwin James, right? Derwin James, who had a pretty solid year last year, has had much better previous seasons. You look at a guy like Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack used to lead the league in sacks, former DPOY winner. What did he do last year? Basically a no-show, right? Joey Bosa regressed, right? You're having all these key defensive players regress, and you brought in a defensive coach. Now, not to mention you bring in Eric Hendricks, who a lot of people think that's a solid signing. I
I don't think so. Nah, that
I
man's
don't know.
washed.
Like, I don't
That
really
man's
understand.
washed. People only thinking that's a good signing based off like his name. No,
Yeah,
that's not a good signing.
yeah. Like their linebacking core has a ton of questions. They have him, Kenneth Murray. He never panned out to what I thought he could be for them. I do like Asante Samuel, but outside of Asante Samuel, we haven't even seen their defensive draft picks turn out or formulate into anything. He's the only one. And so for that reason, for the lack of draft success on his side of the ball, for the lack of free agency and trading success, I have to say that Brandon Staley's on the hot seat once again, and should be
I
gone.
I agree with you, bro. I thought after that game against the Jaguars, I thought, yo, that man's out of here. He's done. He got to pack his bags. He's not gonna be on the plane back to LA. But nope, keeping him back for another year. Which
Um,
I don't know about
yeah,
that.
and then finishing first in this division, I don't know how much we need to talk about them. The Chiefs, I got them finishing with a record of 14-3.
Mm,
Um,
I like
I
that.
mean, I
I
don't
like
I
that
don't
a
know
lot.
what you want me to say outside of they got the best coach in the league, the best quarterback in the league, and the best receiving option in the league, and Travis Kelsey.
I
Um,
like that.
but
I
but
like that a
pay
lot.
Chris Jones, get that man his money.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, we don't have to spend that much time on the Chiefs. I have them, of course, being number one as well. They're going 13-4 in my opinion, but Chris Jones, man, as a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs, longtime fan, please stay, man. Please stay. Please, but we need you, man. I need you. The whole Chiefs kingdom needs you. Bro, if you get traded to another team this year, that pass rush is nothing, bro. The only reason why we have a respectable offense, one of the only reasons, is because of you. You being on that D line, you being an elite player for all these years. So, from the bottom of my heart, man, please
I
stay.
heard they're nearing a deal though. I have close sources to the
I hope,
situation
yeah, I've heard that,
that
yeah,
tell me a
that,
deal
I
will be
hope
done
so.
shortly.
I hope they get that sorted out soon because, bro, bro, that if you take Chris Jones off that entire off that D line, there is not a single player on that D line that is like a game changing player. Chris Jones is
Yeah.
the only game changer on that entire defense. Matter of fact,
Nick Bolton,
you take them in. He's not a game changer.
he changed
He's not
that
a game
Super
changer.
Bowl.
That man
He
is
changed
not a
that
game
Super
changer.
Bowl.
When I say game changer, I mean like a borderline elite at worst player. And Chris Jones, that man is a game changer. That
That's
man is
fair.
a absolute game changer.